Hello everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I'm still working on that intro, so it's gonna be in flux the next couple days. I did get some really good feedback on my opening, so I'm gonna keep that as is until I get some negative comments about it. And I'll probably change it up. I'll probably change it up in probably about a couple months anyway, so. But I really love it. But on Monday, it's Monday. It's time for the Walking Dead review. Well, that and the Once Upon a Time review, but unfortunately, I have not been able to watch the Once Upon a Time show because I fell asleep during it. So I can't really talk about that. However, I can talk about The Walking Dead. I caught the 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time encore, but still, I seen it. Um, the show yesterday, it didn't seem like it accomplished anything, but it did accomplish a ton, and it set up a lot of things that are probably going to happen in the next couple weeks. So, I mean, we'll see how it is there. And I know that one pair is off center, so it's probably going to be distracting a little bit because I can't do anything with it at the moment. So, that can only make it worse. See? Yep, I did make it worse. Damn it. Okay, anyway. I'm sorry if this is going to be any type of spoilers. However, you should watch the show. It's a really good show. And let's just dive into the review. At the beginning, we see Sasha trying to sleep and looking at pictures from the previous owner. She decided to go out and just shoot them, and then she just sits down and says, "Come for me." Then all of a sudden we go back to we have the opening, and then the rest of it is just a lot of good things. We see more Carol doing Carol stuff that she did last week, deceiving the townspeople, and by making really good and fitting in with the community. At the other side, we got Rick playing up to his constable thing, and actually having some really good ideas to to Dina, the person in charge of this place, from things that he's seen. Having patrols, having somebody up in the tower, which Sasha volunteers for, but this person's not having it. I do feel by the end of the season that we're going to see either a Walker invasion, or we're going to see an invasion from another group by the end of this season. There is no way in heck that this is actually going to you're going to keep up like this. This town's been lucky so far, and even Rick said that. He's like, this town is lucky, and it just got luckier. And everybody's like, what? Why did it get luckier? He's like, because we're here now. And it's the truth. They got really lucky. They've been really lucky in the past, but now that they got Rick and the crew, that this place just got luckier. We see Daryl, Carol, and Rick talking outside the gates because it's the only place that they're safe. And they're making their plans to take some pistols and stuff from the cabinet. Sorry about that. So the next thing we see is, after the talk, then we see the thing where Rick is, trying to tell everybody what happened, what should we be doing and stuff like that, what he'd like to see. And then we get going to be about the main attraction of the episode is going to be about this party, this welcoming party for them. And Sasha was told that she had to be there, or she was not going to get she's not going to get up in the tower, which is where she wanted to be, which to me would be a good place to have her. So we spend the rest of the then Aaron starts following Daryl, and then they start Then he starts following Daryl, and they try to go after a horse, try to catch this horse that they call Buttons. Rest in peace, Buttons. But walkers attack, scaring the horse, and then we just see a whole bunch of walker death, and then the horse dies. Then we flip back over to Carol and Rick, where they're talking about that the party would probably be a good time for them to do it, and deciding who is going to be able to do it, and they decide on Carol because she's invincible. She can become invincible. So, and they say that Daryl is being followed. Well, of course he is, but we'll see why later. So we go back and we see Aaron bring up the whole party thing to Daryl, and then we go to the party and we see Abraham and Rosita. As we start the party, we see Abraham and Rosita enter. Rosita tells him about the alcohol. He goes to try to drink it. I think before there we actually got to see Michonne actually get into her constable uniform, which actually looked very cute. And I'm glad for it. The party was kind of lackluster, except a few things happened and a few key points that we really should keep in mind for the rest of the season. One, Rick kissed Jess. Jessie. She's the person that gave him the haircut last episode, and he did kiss her and everything, so that's there. Carol sneaks off. The second thing, Carol sneaks off and threatens Jessie's son. He followed her. So to make sure he doesn't tell, she actually threatens the kid by baking him cookies. Wow, Carol. Wow. Number 3, and we actually see the result of this actually later in the episode near the end, with Abraham talking to Michonne about how weird it feels not to have weapons on them, but it's because he's a former soldier. He says you'll always have that. We're always gonna want to draw your weapon and do that. And it's always gonna feel part of you. And the last thing is Sasha goes ballistic, and this kind of pissed me off because she was just standing there, and the person in the comics, the person that this happens to is actually Michonne. But in the TV show, it actually makes sense with Sasha. She's still grieving. She's still grieving for Tyrese and Bob, who she just lost, I don't know how many, probably about even a month ago. In the show terms, it's only been 2 episodes since Tyrese died. I'm sorry, 3 episodes since Tyrese died. And a couple more before that Bob died. So Sasha's the only member of her family that's actually left, and she's trying to process all of this stuff. As she is, this person starts talking to her about what her favorite dish is, and the person said the worst thing you can actually say to a survivor that's been living out to the gates. I worry about not making it through the right dish. And Sasha goes ballistic, and I take Sasha's side on this. She tells the person, that's what you're worried about? Making sure you're getting my favorite dish right. That's what you're worried about. And this sets up a lot of things for me. The one is, it was actually echoed back in Terminus on how the people were being nice people until they let their own people in. And then, they raped and everything. Something like that is going, like I said, is going to happen here at Alexandria, because if you look at it, that person's more worried about making dishes and socializing and having these parties than they are their actual protection. And Rick was right when he said they're lucky. They've been lucky up until now, and now they just got luckier. Then we cut to after the party. Michonne hangs the samurai sword up, almost kind of retiring it. She didn't. The one thing I did notice is she didn't sheath it. Usually, and this is just talking from a purely speculative point for me, when you retire a sword, you sheath it and hang it because you're not expecting to ever use that weapon again. If you have just put 2 nails up and just put the sword right on top, you're expecting you're going to have to use it at some point. So I don't think she officially retired the sword. I think she's like, okay, for now I'm not going to need this. Then the next thing we see is Sasha being led out of the camp. And this is what I was talking about last week, that I knew it was going to happen because of the previews. And it's kind of sad that it's happening. And we finally get our first thing about how imperfect this place is. They say they're taking anybody out, but yet now they're splitting up the family by tossing Sasha out. This is going to have some repercussions, hopefully next episode, when Rick finds out that what they've done to Sasha. Because Sasha could have been placed in that clock tower, or I think it was a clock tower or something, where she could have been watching, and that be the end of it. Hopefully I'm wrong about that and they didn't actually send her off. But the way that Deanna was talking, it looks like they were sending her off. Which sucks. But, and then we see Carol, Daryl, and Rick. Oh, I forgot the one thing that happened during the party. Daryl doesn't make it to the party. However, he does go to Aaron and Eric's house, and they start talking. And then Aaron shows Daryl the motorcycle that was in the garage, and offers him a job. Told him that he told Deanna not to give Daryl a job because he wanted to make him a recruiter. Daryl accepts. So now we got a job for everybody but Sasha. And like I said, Sasha was just let out the gates. So everybody in the thing has a job. We don't know what everybody's job is yet. We just don't. So, but I like the fact that Daryl was picked because he was able to tell the good people from the bad people, which shows you how desperate this place is trying to keep the good people in here and leave the bad people out. But like I said, this is foreshadowing a lot. One that they're okay. Hold on, let me finish the synopsis of the episode. So we got Daryl, Carol, and Rick gathering again, and Carol points out the guns, and Daryl was like, "You know what? You said we were supposed to be trying. I want to try." So we got Daryl doing almost a 180 from what he was at the beginning of the episode, which is awesome because that's character development. But we say, Rick, take the weapon and put it in his back. Now, as he's walking back in, he sees Jessie and her husband, who's a doctor. He reaches for the gun in the back and just looks at them. Rick is becoming unhinged. You can tell this. So I'm wondering what's going to happen. And then he hears a noise. So he goes over to the fence and he starts almost stroking the fence. And then you see on the other side that there's a walker. So, like I said, this is becoming very, very foreshadow. This is a foreshadow episode. You can tell that everything is being set up here. I'm going on 20 minutes on this thing. Wow. Anyway, like I said, I mean, and that's where it ends, is where they're, he's stroking the fence and everything, and this episode foreshadows a lot. Like I said, one, how is Rick gonna take Sasha being thrown out if she's actually been thrown out and not been put at the clock tower? Because I really do think she's been thrown out. And then two, there's going to be either the Walker attack or the thing, and we actually got a glimpse of that in the preview for next episode. I don't know if it was for the next episode or next episodes, but you actually can see, the attack coming, and he's like, everything I've been saying is true. You should have taken my advice. But it looks like, there's going to be something happening. And, I mean, you can see the foreshadowing, Everybody is more worried about their party and welcoming these people than they are of the actual walkers. Okay. The other thing is, it actually foreshadows another thing. There's a walker with a W on his forehead. And they actually, normally they don't say anything about the walkers, but they made a big deal of this when they actually killed it. So what's going on with that? But like I said, there's gonna be something happening to this thing probably by the end of the season, if not next episode. The other thing we see Rick is, while he can play nice, he's completely gone. You can tell he's not gonna do it. The only thing that I've noticed in the last 2 episodes, and I wish they would get more into the other members, and hopefully maybe we do that next week, and keep off any invasion until the last episode or last episode. We've only seen the big three, the original 3, as I'm going to start calling them, because they are, well, besides Glenn, they are some of the original 3s. Carol, Daryl, and Rick have been broadcast the most in this episode, and even last episode. Those are the 3 that we looked up on and spent the most time with. I want to see what the other members of the group is doing, especially my favorite, Tara. We know she got a job as a scavenger, but that's all we've seen. We haven't seen Eugene yet. We don't even know what Eugene's job is. We don't know what Rosita's job is. We don't even know what the father's job is. So, Abraham has been said that he's a construction worker. So we don't know what's happening with those. I wish they would spend some time with those instead of the main 3, as I'm starting to. It's either going to be the main 3 or the original 3. It can't be the original 3 because Glenn's still there. But we also don't know what, we've finally seen what Maggie's going to be doing, and it looks like she's going to be the aide to the person there. And it looks like even she was playing. She's like, this is not how this is going to work. This is not going to work. You're going to find out a little too late. But I actually got to get going, so I will talk to everybody later. And hopefully you like this episode thing, and I'll see everybody later. Bye.